Hey, Zudoragi here, and today I'll be taking a look at Voyager class Alternators Grimlock. You can see him in his Ford Mustang GT? Is it GT? Yes, it is a GT. Anyway, Ford Mustang GT mode. His vehicle mode. And here is its size compared to a soda can. Roughly the same size as an average Voyager or the Human Alliance figures that came out with Revenge of the Fallen, I believe. Well, anyway, there's that. As far as colors, it's basically just a few. The outside of the vehicle is all silver, although there are some chrome bits here on the wheels, black for the tires, and translucent red pieces for the taillights down here, up here, with a little bit of translucent white, basically clear, I don't know why I said translucent white, as well as clear up here, a little bit of chrome, some black, translucent orange, and there is the license plate that says Grimlock on it with an Autobot emblem. Also says GT embossed right there. It's dusty. It's a fairly good car mode. I like it. Rolls fairly well, as you would expect with big rubber tires. The wheels, as with all alternators, can turn. There's a system of pins down here that interact between the arms. I don't know if you can see that. And like with all the other alternators, he has all the usual features you'd expect from a car. The hood can open. Of course, it's kind of empty right now. Hi! Both doors can open. Whoa! The C-clips used to hold these doors on aren't the greatest, but as long as you're not manhandling, they usually don't fall off. The insides of the doors, the insides of the doors are actually pretty well detailed. Little glove box, the little place to hold it, handle to open it. Side view mirrors actually have sort of like a chrome sticker on there. The interior is really well detailed. The seats have, just sort of a lining on them. They look orange on camera, but they're actually bright red. You've got the steering wheel, all the gauges. There's even cup holders molded inside, along with the shift stick, and a few other niceties molded in there. Not a whole lot of room, but it actually is possible to get a Human Alliance human figure to sit in there, which is nice. Of course, the trunk opens, but there's not really a whole lot in there. But it's nice that it does. He does have two accessories. He has his engine block, which becomes his gun in robot mode. Not too bad. Underside's pretty basic, but up there's not too bad. Of course, this can be stored in vehicle mode as his engine. There is just a crossbar that goes in there, and then there are tabs on here that will just sit on there and hold everything in place. And there he has his engine. And he also has his sword, which is molded in fully translucent, or just fully clear plastic, with some orange paint down here, and then some translucent orange going around the edge of the sword. I quite like it. It's not overly big, but it looks pretty nice. It has these two posts on it, which can be used to store it inner side of the vehicle. Port here and here. Just line these up. like that and that. And there you have storage. Of course, it being down there doesn't affect his ability to roll or anything. What will affect his ability to roll, though, is if the floor of the car comes out. So, that's nice. Of course, they're rubber tires, so I mean, you can pop them off if you want. I don't know why you would. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get this guy from vehicle mode into robot mode. Before we move on, I want to apologize. My microphone decided to disconnect on me, and my computer didn't tell me. So, yay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get on with the transformation. Start things off, you're going to want to come in here and pull out the engine block. You can go ahead and leave the sword on. That doesn't really affect too much. Just open the doors. Come back here and attach the roof from this section of the car. After you do that, open up the trunk. Then take this rear portion of the car, the bumper and taillights, pull it out, swing it up so that it intersects with that, just like that. Swing open these panels. Pop down this part, just get the front of the car out of the way, then take this entire rear section and swing it down until it stands up straight. Close these panels, flatten out the seats to become his feet, and there are these big joints in here. You want to get this all the way up against the front of the car so that his feet sit properly. And now for a somewhat annoying part, if I raise the camera, you want to bring this shoulder cape, or waist cape, and his waist, and you want to turn it around. However, it's not always the easiest thing to do. Of course, that time it was effortless, just to make a liar out of me. Yay. Okay, now we come to the upper body. Get the legs straightened out. Okay, first we need to take the wheels and just this entire center section and separate it from the top of the car. And just bring it down like that. Straighten out the arms like this. And just get everything out of everything else's way. And there are these double hinges right here. So swing the arms out and up. And the doors are on these sliders. Bring them out until they stop and just lay them against the shoulder like that. Again, bring this out, bring this slider down, bring this out. Now you want to make sure that it comes out like this and not like that. If it's like that, it's not going to work. You have to make sure that this joint is flat like this. Then just turn his arms around, get his hands straight, around, and around, get the door flat. And now this is going to be the front, so you want to bring his arms down like this, so they're up and down. Just accordion this whole section back, and now we'll work on the chest. So just get the hood up. And then it is, I don't know how well you can see it, it's actually on a track in there, and so what you need to do is bring it forward, and there are little tabs like this on the other end that will sit behind that bar. But before that can happen, you have to take the windshield and the roof and get them down. Then take, come on. Everything's getting in the way of everything else. There we go. Anyway, now, You want to take this center panel here, swing it around, and it'll just tuck under there. Make sure all this is as far forward as it can go, and then just lay it flat against the front of the car. Extend the head, a little track in there, and then just get it. Whoa! That's never happened before. Okay, continuing when we left off, you want to bring the head up, and there's just a little bit of a lip that'll go into the groove where this hinge is. Yeah, right there. Just bring all that down. Then there are tabs on the tops of the shoulders. They'll go into slots in there. So just basically need to accordion everything so that it sits right like that. And now, okay, there are little notches on this chrome piece that will slide into tabs right here. Let's see if I can actually show you that. Yeah, there we go. Just get everything flat against his back. Pull his legs apart so that he can actually, pose. They're just pegged together. So just get him where he'll stand. Get everything the way you want it, and you have Alternators Grimlock. Oop. Now, there you have Alternators Grimlock in robot mode. Here's his size compared to a soda can. Basically what you could expect from a Voyager class. His colors are thankfully a little less monochromatic. Still a lot of silver, but broken up with a lot of black, some red, medium gray, clear parts, and a dash of translucent blue and some sort of dark gold. It'd be nice if maybe the wheels could fold away or something, but it is what it is. View from above and below. Okay, what's shaking around? Stop it. Now his posability is pretty good. He's a bit hampered just because he has a whole car hanging on to him, but whatever. His head is on a ball joint, as you very comically saw earlier. Can tilt side to side, go all the way around, as well as move up and down. It's actually a fairly Grimlock head, at least as far as I'm concerned. Come on, down. Of course, you can use this to get him to move his head a little bit more if you need to. His arms can go all the way around at the shoulder. You can just stop stuff from colliding with everything. They can go out to the side that far. His arms can do that for whatever purpose that serves. They can bend just over 90 degrees with a ball-jointed elbow, meaning they also swivel at the elbow all the way around. These wheels kind of just flop around. His hands are on ball joints. They can move in and out, side to side, and rotate. And then if they're also on a slider in here, so if you pull them out, you can get a wider range of motion. His fingers are also articulated, not the thumb. The thumb is just molded in, but all four fingers are on hinges, with these three fingers being molded together and the trigger finger being separate. He can rotate all the way around at the waist, although it's rather tight, but it works. And, if, with a little bit of trickery, you can also sort of get an ab crunch. Hey, no. If his arms don't detach from his body first. The only thing I don't like about this guy is not everything attaches as securely as I would like. Now, as I was saying, if you take this chrome piece off of the hooks in there, you can sort of get a ab crunch out of him, but it's not necessarily something you're supposed to be able to do. Legs can go forward that far, and of course the back skirt can move up and down. They can go backwards that far, out to the side that far, swivel a little bit on that ball joint. They can normally only bend that much at the knee, but if you get this panel out of the way, they can, bend all the way. But then his legs start to disappear into itself. This knee armor can move as well, so I mean, you can pose it, like that or like that. Personally, I prefer it this way, but whatever, your toy. The feet can move up and down. Unfortunately, the hinge for the feet is a little farther forward than I think is appropriate, so when you move the feet down, it looks kind of odd, but it's there. You can also swivel side to side and turn just a little bit. So, he does have the possibility for some pretty dynamic poses. Of course, on mine, the joints are all pretty weak, but you can make do if you get things done right. Stand, darn you. Stand! Okay, you gotta stand now? Good. Of course, he does still have his accessories. To start off with, he has his engine block, which can turn into a gun. These black pieces on the side just fold forward, and the handle folds down, like that. Unfortunately, the pin has come loose over the years, so I mean, it's got no stability at all. As far as holding it, he has ports, one in each hand, right there, and little nubs on the end of the handle. You just put the nub into the port, and as far as his grip on it is concerned, it's not coming out. I mean, he's not going to let go of that. Unfortunately, the gun itself is extremely floppy. I mean, if you get gravity balanced right, it'll stay up, but I mean, it doesn't really take a whole lot for... Really. It has never stayed like that before. It always just flops around. You're being a real jerk right now. Anyway, it technically can't, but it can be stored, because, I mean, the storage on, vehicle mode was for it to get stored on his neck. But the center console portion here, this double hinge, is just the right size for these two tabs to just hook over that. And, hey, no. For them to hook over that, and it actually stays fairly well as long as you don't knock it or anything. It doesn't look too obtrusive. I mean, you normally can't really tell it's there because his abdomen is so wide. There we go. Okay. And then, of course, he has his last accessory, his sword, which I showed to you earlier. And he can hold it. It's just this post here at the end of the handle. And then it goes into that same port in his hand. Come on. And again, he holds it extremely securely. Although my only complaint is it's kind of small. I mean, I think it should have been like about that long rather than, I mean, this is like just barely a sword. It's just over the size of a dagger. But, I mean, it's there, so that's nice. And of course, it can still be stored on him in robot mode, as the ports used in vehicle mode are now on the underside of his back skirt. So just port there and there. Just plug this on. Really? You just plug it on like that, and there he has his accessories stored. Now, from what I've heard, a lot of people don't actually like this version of Grimlock because, he's a car, not a dinosaur. But, I mean, it was the Alternators line. The gimmick is they all turn into near-perfect replicas of cars. So, I mean, they just really couldn't have a dinosaur in that. But I think he's pretty cool. Of course, I'm slightly biased because the Mustang is one of my favorite cars, but I think he's a pretty cool toy, all things considered. His posability is good. His transformation's a bit finicky, but dear God, it is nothing compared to Smokescreen's. Smokescreen is a nightmare. I honestly don't even like transforming that guy. This guy is actually fun to transform. This section can be a little finicky, but for the most part, it's not too bad. And of course, the car mode is nice and solid, unlike Smokescreen's floppy pile of ranting. The robot mode's pretty nice. I mean, they've got some of the basic things here. These emulate his dino legs, the dinosaur legs that become his arms. It would have been nice if they had some kind of, like, you know, just yellow spikes or something to give lip service to his dino claws, but whatever. Overall, I like the figure. I think this mold works a little bit better for Wheeljack than it does for Grimlock, but on Grimlock, it's not too bad. Personally, I like it. But hey, that's just my opinion. Well, this has been my review of Voyager class Grimlock from Transformers Alternators. So until next time, bye-bye.